So you registered for taxes with Uganda Revenue Authority and you have been having this TIN number for a while. When you have this TIN number for a while, you've been filing for other kinds of taxes, or you've not even been filing for any taxes at all, except for income tax. And now, for some reason, you feel you need to register for value-added tax, or you need the details of your TIN to be amended so that they include value-added tax therein. In today's session, I am going to talk about VAT registration. I'm going to tell you the requirements that you need to meet for you to be able to register for value-added tax. I'm also going to talk about VAT deregistration, and then also I'll be showing you practically how applying for VAT is done on the online portal, that is on the URA online portal. My name is Arnold, this is Kisembo Academy. So when it comes to VAT registration, it comes in two forms. There is what we call voluntary VAT registration and involuntary VAT registration. Voluntary VAT registration means that as a taxpayer, you're going to come out of your own free will and apply to be included on the VAT register. Involuntary VAT registration means that Uganda Revenue Authority looks into you, the taxpayer, and it identifies that you meet certain requirements, and so it forcefully puts you on the VAT register. That forceful putting you on the VAT register is sometimes what we call amending your TIN forcefully to include value-added tax as a tax head. So just like it is with registration that you can either register voluntarily or forcefully, it's the same with deregistration. Even with VAT deregistration, we can do it voluntarily. That is, if you feel you meet certain conditions that, according to the law, deem that you shouldn't be filing any more VAT returns, you can voluntarily apply to deregister for VAT. Also, at the same time, if you are not meeting certain preset requirements by URA, the commissioner can deregister you for VAT at their own discretion. So let's talk about what it takes to be registered for value-added tax. Number one, you're supposed to be having at least a sales volume of 150 million in the last 12 months. That is, the sales volume, or call it the turnover, should be 150 million in the last 12 months. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to have those 150 million in the last 12 months to be registered for VAT. Also, if you anticipate that you are going to make that amount of sales in the next 12 months, you can still apply for value-added tax and you'll be included on the VAT register. So it is either you have hit a threshold of 150 million in the last 12 months, that is, and as far as turnover is concerned, or you need to show cause that you expect to hit that threshold in the next 12 months. And if you are to get 150 million and divide it by 12 months, you realize that we shall arrive at 37.5 million per quarter, that is per every 3 months. So in the future, if you anticipate that you're going to make at least 150 million in sales or 37.5 million in sales or turnover in the next 3 months, that is, then you can apply for VAT and it shall be granted. It's one of the requirements that you should pass. The other requirements that you should pass are you're supposed to be fit and proper. You remember when you are filing for VAT, or when you are going to be on the VAT register, you open up yourself to VAT filing obligations, and so you should be deemed to be fit and proper to file returns every month, and you should be the kind that keeps proper books of records, and you should be deemed the kind of person that is capable of giving reliable tax returns. And also, prior to your VAT registration, you shall be inspected to verify that you have a fixed place of abode. It is a requirement that you should have a fixed place of abode. So, upon applying online to be included in the VAT register, the URA officials will go through the necessary criteria to evaluate you to see if you are worthy to be on this VAT register, and that your application will either be granted or rejected. Let's talk about VAT deregistration. Like I said, VAT deregistration is either both voluntary and involuntary. Here are the circumstances that can cause you to be deregistered for value-added tax. Number one, let's say you have been filing nil returns for a period of 6 months or so. If you have been filing nil VAT returns for a very extended period of time, it means eventually you're going to hit low, or you're going to get below the threshold for VAT, which is 150 million for every 12 months. And when you hit that threshold, you'll automatically be deregistered from VAT. Also, if you cease to make taxable supplies, you can be deregistered from the VAT register. And also, if for some reason you no longer have a fixed place of abode, those are grounds to deregister you from the VAT register. Like I said again, the process of deregistration can either be voluntary or it can be forcefully made if you meet the criteria for deregistration. Now, there are other persons that do not necessarily make taxable or do not supply taxable supplies, but the law requires that they should register for value-added tax. Here we are talking about government institutions, local authorities and municipalities. These ones should register for VAT so that they are able to collect value-added tax from the general public. Also, diplomatic or special people and diplomatic people, they are not supposed to pay VAT, but they're supposed to register for value-added tax so that they are able to get their VAT refunds as diplomatic people. That being said, now let's get to my computer screen and let me show you how we apply for value-added tax on the URA portal. So I am going to log into a TIN number of a company that is not registered for VAT, and we are going to register for VAT right now. So this is me logging in. So after going to the URA portal, you log in, and that is me logging in right there. So now that I have logged in, so what you do is that you go to e-registration right there. You hover your mouse there at e-registration. Then after e-registration, you move to this column of amendment. Definitely it's amendment of non-individual, so I'm going to click on that. So when I click on e-amendment for registration for non-individual, this is what comes up. So right here, I'm going to come down here to VAT, value added tax here. Since this TIN number had not yet been registered for value added tax, so I'm going to go ahead and click that option for new registration, VAT for non-individual taxpayer. So I'll go ahead and click on that. So when I click on that, when we scroll up here, you realize that there are several schedules here. There is page 1, page 2, page 3, then there are schedules here, gaming tax, then there is value added tax here. So I'm going to come and click on VAT here, like that. When I click on VAT right there like that, so we have a section here that we are going to talk about. Well, there is section A, identifying information. So under identifying information, now this is a company, a real estate company that I have opened. Now let's say it's we are going to give taxable supplies. So taxable supplies, of course, under taxable supplies we have the ones that are 0 rated and standard rated. Well, I'll say yes or no. Of course, I'm definitely have to say yes, because that is exactly what it is, that the taxable supplies, that it's what I'm applying for. I have taxable supplies, so I'm applying for VAT for that. So if I was an investment trader, I would have come and selected as such. Now, VAT relief entitlement, if I have any VAT relief entitlement, I'll come here and simply click yes in case I do. Now, the people that have VAT relief entitlement are like the diplomats, those ones that they're not entitled to paying VAT. So if they're registering for that, they would come and click this option. Then if I was, of course, we are resident. If you're non-resident, you simply come and click yes, but definitely this does not apply in this circumstance where the company I'm applying for is a taxable supply.
Now, dimming VAT, I think I'll just need to do a separate video on dimmed VAT. Let me know if you would like to see that kind of video in the comment section below. So if you are entitled to dimming VAT, you here come and click yes. And of course, if you're going to come and click yes, then there are some items that you're supposed to select here, whether you're a licensee or a licensor or a contractor, whatever. We'll do a separate video on dimmed VAT and how to file when there's dimmed VAT involved. So for now, let's apply for taxable supplies. So I'll come here and click yes. Click yes, definitely non-resident. No, we are not non-residents. I'll click here and no. And of course, dimming VAT, I'll click no. So we come down here to section B, the accounting details. Is your turnover above 150 million? Definitely. Now this, like I had explained before, there are certain, conditions prior to, filing VAT. If your turnover is above 150 million, then you come and click yes, and that will be it. But if it's not, then you have and click no. Remember, the condition here is that if you've hit the threshold of 150 million in the last 12 months, then you are eligible to register for VAT. But you can still say no, and that would mean that you intend to hit this threshold within the next 12 months, or you intend to hit 37.5 million within the next 3 months. So I'll say yes, maybe. Do you intend to import goods and services in Uganda? These questions are really self-explanatory. You either say yes or no depending on your circumstances. Do you intend to use cash accounting method to report for VAT? I'll say no. Do you intend to use the standard alternative method of apportionment of input VAT? So here you either say yes or no. So standard alternative method of apportionment of input VAT is I think I'll have to do another video on this. You let me know in the comment section below if you want me to explain this. It is another way of calculating input VAT. So you either say yes or no. Most people click no. But if you say yes, then again you say yes, and the details are the theory is behind this is about the mixed supplies. We have standard rated and zero rated, then there is what we call the mixed supplies. I think I should talk about this in detail in another video. I won't go into those details now. So I'll say no for this, then I'll come down here. So in the table below, indicate an estimate of the turnover of goods and services you supply or intend to supply. So these are the goods or services that I intend to supply. Timeline, of course, in the last 3 months, then the last 12 months, then the next 3 months, then the next 12 months. So you're going to have to indicate the ones that you've been supplying that are exempt, the ones that are zero rated, the ones that are standard rated, and then they'll show us here the total. For this, let's say it's standard rated. I'm just going to put arbitrary figures here. In the last 3 months, maybe it's 40 million. In the last 12 months, maybe it's been maybe 80 million, something like that. Well, above here, I showed that my turnover is above 150 million, so definitely in the last 12 months, I should indicate that maybe it was 100 million, 180 million, just to be consistent. Then in the next 3 months, maybe I expect that it's going to be 400 million. Then in the next 12 months, it's probably going to be, let me see, 600 million, something like that. Enter the expected date of here in these other columns. I just put 0 like that. If I'm not dealing in any of these, I'll just put zeros like that. Yeah. Then enter expected date of first taxable supply. So I'll enter the date I'm expecting to make the first taxable supply. So I'll hit the date selector. I'll select a date really depending on your circumstances. Yeah. Okay. Declare amount of VAT incurred prior to this application. You will put the amount of VAT that has been incurred prior to this application. Then I'll slop down here. We are seeing section C, investment trader. Then we have all these, that is for in case of an investment trader, which is not the case here. We have down here, we get to section D, type of registration for VAT relief entitlements. This is a section for people who are relieved, who have special entitlements, the so-called diplomats and so forth. It's not applicable in this for this illustration I'm making. Then we have the non-resident. This is also not applicable here. Then contractor for aid funded projects. This is when we are talking about the deemed VAT provision, which is not applicable for what we are doing here. Here we are trying to apply for value added tax for a normal company that is having taxable supplies. So from here, so we are done. We are done filling this. Then from here, I can simply go ahead and click next. So from here, next, of course, we go to the excise thing here. This is this is excise duty. Then we have the branch details here. This is not midstream mining operations, oil and gas. So like after filling the VAT schedule here, then we shall go to oil and gas, which so happens to be the very last tab. Then I will scroll down to the very end. Then I will click submit like that. Then of course there is going to be errors. There is some error in the form. Please check the error tab. I'll click OK. So when I click OK, I will automatically go to the error tab and they will show me which errors. Yeah, so here they are saying me number one, please provide effective date of change. So now when I click on this link, please provide effective date of change. Now there could be other errors depending on yours or whatever you've been doing. So please provide effective date of change. I'll click on that. When I click on that, it will automatically go to the spot that I missed. Now when I was filling in this thing, remember I came from page 1. I skipped up to the VAT template, but I forgot to go to page 3. In page 3 down here on section, under section D, I'm supposed to, under category here, we are saying VAT registration. I was supposed to fill the effective date of change. That is the effective date when VAT should apply on my team. So I'll click on that and I'll click the date when I want the VAT to change. With this case, it's 1st March 2022. So after doing that, now that I have corrected the errors in the error tab, so I'll go back to the oil and gas tab, which happens to be the very last one here. Then I'll scroll down and then I'll click submit. So when I click submit, then my application will go through. After my application has been submitted online, then I am supposed to go to URA with the acknowledgement receipt of the application and tell them, hey, this is my TIN number. I applied for value added tax and I have probably come here to follow up, and definitely URA will go ahead and do its side of the deal. It will have to verify your application, see if you meet or you are worthy or you're fit to be included on the VAT register, and the process will be complete. So that is how we make the application online. My name is Arnold. This is Kisembo Academy.